Hi there guys, my name is Aaron and you can learn, make and create together with me in Adobe Photoshop. Today I'm going to show you how you can edit this portrait step by step using some actions. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here we are in Adobe Photoshop, and before we start retouching this portrait, make sure to check all the links down in the description because you will find the raw file and the retouching actions that we are going to use in this video tutorial. So first thing first, what we're going to do into this portrait is that we need to open the Makeup Artist Retouching Actions 2023, and I'm gonna zoom in. So first thing first, I'm gonna click here on the clean and click play. As you can see, we have two layers. One of them is clean here, clean layer, sorry, this says clean here, and one of them is a black and white help layer that is going to help us because as you can see, we can't see some details that we want to clean. So we click here on the clean layer and we choose the spot healing brush tool. We are going to zoom in where we want to start cleaning this portrait. But as you can see, the portrait or the model has some freckles and we don't want to remove or ruin them. So I'm going to clean like 10% maybe of this portrait because I think that is looking really good and we don't have too much for the clean. As I said in the beginning, you have to check all the links down in the description because if you join my Telegram channel, you will find a bunch of raw files, and there are like free and some premium raw files that I have been used in my previous video tutorials, and they are really amazing for practice. And if you retouch them and you post them in social media, please don't forget to mention or tag the photographers who did them, because this is the main reason the other photographers give me or other people free raw files. So I'm just going to clean this, as I said in the beginning, just a little, and once that I am done, we are going to work with a dodge and burn and maybe separation and just a little about the makeup. So here we have the nostrils. I'm going to click here on the burn tool and maybe with 40% I'm just going to paint it inside the nose nostrils just to make them darker like this. I think that they're okay. Now check it before and after. As I said, there's not much going on. So I'm going to merge all of these layers into a single one. So here's before and after. And now that I'm done with the cleaning, it's time for the frequency separation. So I'm just gonna click play and wait until it's done. So here we have our color and the texture. So first thing first, in the frequency separation, we are going to work in the color. And when we are done with the color, we will be working in the texture. But as I said, this portrait or the female model has some freckles and we don't want to ruin them. So with the mixer brush, the settings right now are wet by 10%, load by 40%, flow by 33, mix by 33 and flow by 33. Let me just move this mic just a little closer. And I will start mixing the skin color here, for example, in the forehead, because we wanted to remove that thing earlier, but I left it for the mixer brush. And as I said, you have to be very gentle into this part because we don't want to ruin the freckles in the face. But if, for example, if you ruin them just a little, I think that I'm going to add some fake freckles to the model because I think that they will look really good. So let me just finish this part of the frequency separation, especially the color, because as I said, there is no much going on here into this portrait because the model is looking really good. And the photographer who did this, I don't know the photographer because I got this raw file in the a website called Signature Edits CO, I don't know. So if you know the photographer, just leave the comment down below and I will tag him. So here is a before and after what we've done in the frequency separation, especially in the color. And for example, if you are done with the color and you want to work in the texture or you want to clean just a little more, you can zoom in and you have to click here on the clone stamp tool. Make sure that opacity is 100 and flow is 100. And to clean in the texture, you have to click Alt keyboard, hold it, and just click to copy. Now release the Alt keyboard and just paint to paste. So one more time, click Alt keyboard, click to copy, release the Alt keyboard, and just paint to paste. So this is the best way you can clean in the texture of the frequency separation technique. So you have to be careful that you are copy pasting the texture as near as possible, because for example, if you copy the texture here and you paste it here, as you can see, will create a bad texture and it will be really fake. So we don't want that. And we have to copy paste, as I said, as near as possible. For example, in this part, we copy here and we just paint and paste it here. And for example, for the hair that are around the lips, with 100% of the opacity of the clone stamp tool, it will be really bad. So I think that I'm gonna clean this part with a 50%. So as you can see, they're looking really smooth, just like this. So here's the before and after. And I'm gonna work just a little more here on this part, and I think that they're looking good. Now check it before and after of this entire process, which is looking really nice. And I think that we are done with frequency separation because there wasn't much going on here. So I'm gonna merge these two into a single one. Now back to the actions, and it's time for some makeup details of this portrait. So I'm gonna click here on the eyes retouch, click continue, click OK. And here we have our group of eyes retouch. This one is to remove the veins, but right now we don't have anything to clean. So I'm gonna click here on the brightening, and this layer or this action is for the bright part of the eyes. So make sure that 100% of opacity and flow is on, and just paint it on the white of the eyes, just like this. Now we want to zoom out and check a before and after, which is 100% is kind of too much. So I'm going to go by 45 and click here on the eyeball brightening and zoom in and just paint inside of the eyeball, just like this. Make sure that you do the same process in both of them, because we don't want anything to be like one more and one less. And 100% is kind of too much, so I'm gonna go by 40%. Now click here on the iris contour, just zoom in and paint with 100%, just like this. As I said, do the same process in both of them. Now zoom out and check it before and after, and I think that is okay. Now a before and after of the entire group, and it's okay. Now merge both of them into a single one. Now click here on the eyeshadows that says pick a color. So I'm gonna play it twice and I'm gonna zoom in. This one is really great for makeup artists, because if you haven't done like too much makeup in your portrait, you can add a lot of colors with this one. For example, you can click on the swatches, and I think that here we have some purple, here we have some pink, kind of into orange. So I'm gonna click here on the purple color, and I'm just going to paint it with 10% of opacity, just like this. Make sure that you do that process really gentle, because you don't want to paint inside the eyes. And as you can see, with 10%, maybe it's kind of too low, so I think that I'm gonna go and increase it just a little. So I'm gonna zoom out and check it before and after, which is looking really good. So I'm going to paint it just a little more here, and I think that is okay. And now that I'm done with the purple color, I think that I'm gonna add some pink maybe into the upper part, just like this. Now check it before and after, which is looking really good. But for example, as I said, you can even change the color entirely. For example, you can go with this yellow maybe and just paint it over there, and maybe with lower opacity of the brush, and you will be able to change the makeup colors just like this into green and anything else. But I think that I'm going to leave them as they are because I really like the makeup of this portrait. So again, in the other side, I'm going to paint it with a purple and with a pink in the upper part, just like this. Now check it before and after, and I think that they're looking really good. I'm gonna zoom in, and as you can see, we have painted on the eyelashes and they are black, so we don't want them into a different color. So we to remove that, I'm gonna double click here and the layer style will show up, and here we have the highlights of the layer, and here we have the shadows of the layer. So I'm gonna click here and click Alt keyboard, hold it, click here to divide this, and just slide this into the right, and you will see that the color will disappear from the shadows. So let me zoom out. Here's the before and after, which is looking really good. Now I'm gonna decrease the opacity just a little, and I'm gonna merge both of them into a single layer. Now I'm gonna play the eyeshadow pop, click play, wait until it's done, zoom in, and just paint it over there on the eye makeup, just like this. And if you think that this one is kind of too much, you can always lower the opacity of the group, because as you can see, 100% is way too much for this portrait. And I think that I'm gonna go by 45. And 45, I think that is looking okay. Now merge again into a single one. You can even zoom in and click, for example, here on the smoky eyes, just play and just paint over there to make some nice shadows for the eye makeup. Now check it before and after. Lower the opacity maybe by 22, oops, sorry, and just merge into a single one. You can even play the mascara, just zoom in and paint it over the eyelashes. And for example, as you can see, the opacity by 100% is kind of too much. So I think that I'm gonna go by 45, which is looking okay. Now merge both of them again. And I think that I'm done with the makeup about the eyes. And right now I'm gonna click here that says cheeks, play, and just paint over there on the cheeks. So this is kind of rosy cherry color, and it's really nice for the cheek contour, just like this. Now check it before and after, and I think it's okay, but I'm going to lower it by 35. Now merge both of them again, and we have the lipstick color. Just click play, open the lipstick group and turn on one of them colors and just paint with a white brush. Or you can even paint, create a selection with a pen tool, just like this. Right click, make selection, feather radius by 2 pixels, click OK, and just paint it with a white brush entirely. As you can see, before and after. I'm gonna zoom in and create another selection inside the mouth, because we don't want the red color showing up in the teeth, because it's really bad, so we don't want that. Now click again on make selection, feather radius by 2, and right now with a black color, just paint them out just like this. So here's the before and after, which is looking really bad because we need to make some changes. And for example, you can even change the lipstick color. Let me show you the lipstick colors that are inside that group. And for example, if you don't like any of them, you can just double click here and move the color that you want. Depends on your preferences. But I think that I'm gonna stick with this one because it's looking really good. So as you can see, the lines are kind of too sharp, so I'm gonna double click here and the properties will show up. So I'm gonna increase the feather just a little and maybe right now is okay. Now check it before and after, which is looking really good. So as you can see that we have created a different color of the lipstick. We lost some of the highlights, so I'm just gonna double click here again and the layer style will show up. So here we have as I said before, for the eyes with the eyelashes, here we have the shadow and we have the highlights. So we want to remove some of the color from the highlights only. So click Alt keyboard, click here, and this one will divide, and just slide this into the left, just like this. And here we have the color, and we have some of the highlights as well. So here's the before and after. And as I said, for example, if you think that this is kind of too much, you can always lower the opacity of the group and just make it look, I don't know, better for you. But I think that I'm gonna go by 45, just like this. Now check it before and after. And as you can see, the lines here are kind of too sharp. Paint this part just a little with 30% of opacity, and with a black brush I'm just going to paint inside that layer mask, just like this. Now check it before and after, and I think that they're looking okay. Now I'm gonna merge both of them into a single layer. Now check it before and after of this entire process. I'm gonna add some dodge and burn into the portrait again. Sorry, again, not because we didn't do that in the beginning. So I'm gonna click here on the dodge, and I'm gonna create a black and white help layer that is going to help us. So click here on the black and white and just move the yellows and the reds into the left, just like this. Now click on the dodge with 10% of opacity. I'm just going to paint, and the highlights will be created just like this. Now the same thing goes for the burn. So I'm going to paint here to create some contours, and maybe just a little about around the forehead, sorry, and just a little here under the lips. Now check it before and after, which is looking really good, and I think that it's looking nice again because we needed that. So I'm going to merge both of them into a single layer again. Oops, sorry, merge layers. And now that we are done with the dodge and burn, I'm going to add some sharpen, basic contrast, and face contour. So I'm going to play all of them once. Click OK, click stop. And here we have the sharpen, which is showing nothing because it's into a black layer mask. So we have to switch it to the white. So click Control and I, and it will invert, and it's white. And I think that I'm gonna go by 45 on this one. Now turn on the basic contrast, which is looking okay, but I think that is too much. And click here on the contour. For example, you can double click here and make changes. This one is for the highlights, and this one is for the midtones, and this one is for the shadows. So check it before and after of the contour. This is really great for portraits. I'm going to slide this into the left, decrease the opacity just a little, and merge as always into a single one. So here's a before and here's an after. So as I said in the beginning, for example, you can even add some freckles to this portrait. So I'm gonna click here on the frequency separation, click play. The reason why I am doing this is that I want to remain the texture of the portrait. So I'm gonna create an empty layer here. With a black brush, I'm gonna paint some freckles, and I got these freckles from VRChange. Link is in the description. And for example, you can increase the brush size of the freckles. With the arrows, you can move them from left to the right and just paint, and do the same process in the other side, which is looking good. Of course, it's not looking good, but I was meaning for the brush. And as you can see, they are totally black, so we have to switch the blending mode from normal to soft light and zoom in just a little. And as you can see, the freckles are kind of too sharp, so I'm gonna click here on the filter blur, click on the Gaussian blur, and I think that 4 pixels is okay. Now, as you can see, you have painted the freckles inside the eyes, which is looking really fake. So I'm gonna create here a layer mask, and with a default general brush, soft round, I'm gonna paint them outside of the eyes. So just paint them out with a black brush inside a white layer mask, just like this. And make sure that you paint them outside of the ear because they were looking really bad. So just like this. Now check a before and after, which is kind of too much, obviously. And I'm gonna double click here and the layer style will show up. So I'm gonna zoom in just a little. Now double click again, and I'm going to remove the freckles from the white parts, for example, from the highlights, and just slide this into the left, and you will see that the freckles will be gone, for example, in the shadow parts. But you can divide this by clicking Alt keyboard and clicking here, and just slide this into the right, and they will be gone from the shadows. And do the same thing for the highlights, just like this. Click OK. Now check it before and after, which is looking again too much, and I think that I'm going to paint them out just a little from this part. Now check it before and after, which is looking really good, but I think, for my opinion, this is kind of too much. So I think that I'm gonna go by 45, and 45 looks good. So here's before and after. So I'm gonna merge again the layers. And now that I am done with the retouch, I think that I'm going to add some color grade to this portrait. So here we have some color grade light skin actions. I'm gonna check them one by one until I find my best color grading settings. And I think that I'm gonna stick with the A1. So just click play, wait until it's done. And here we have a before and after. For example, you can even make some changes inside of them, or check them one by one, and which one you think that is giving too much effect, you can just I don't know, maybe just decrease or increase the opacity of that layer, and you're good to go. For example, this color balance is kind of too much, so I think that I'm gonna go by 10%. The selective color looks good. So here's a before, and here's an after. So I think that I'm gonna decrease the opacity of the color grade by 50%. And again, I'm gonna click play here on the face contouring that says for color grade. Click play, wait until it's done. So here's before. I'm gonna make some changes on the midtones and in the highlights, and just decrease the opacity of this one by maybe 25%, and just merge them into a single layer. And boom, that's it. I'm gonna zoom in. So here's before, and here's an after, here's before, and here's an after. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Please don't forget to check all the links down in the description, because you'll find the raw file, retouching actions, color grade actions, and everything else about retouching. Let me know if I'm understandable or not. Let me know if you learned something from me or not. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.